girlies, and welcome back to the pod. Today we're talking all about gratitude, things you can do to practice it, why it's important, and what I'm grateful for. Obviously, because Thanksgiving is this Thursday, so I thought we'd do like a holiday-themed episode for everyone who's in the US, and if you're not, then hey, practicing gratitude is always important. So it definitely applies to everyone outside of the US as well. But first, let's talk about my week. So on Monday, I had academic team, and we had our fourth loss in a row. But it was okay, guys, because I got to participate in 2 categories this time. I did social studies and humanities, which was really fun. I had never been in the humanities. We did lose by a lot, but I actually answered a lot of questions, which was fun and exciting. So it ended up being a positive, even though we lost. Some people were very angry about that. I didn't really feel that way. To me, I'm like, this is academic team. We don't practice. I don't know what y'all are expecting to come out of this. Also, the headphones I'm wearing make my ears so itchy, and I don't know why, and it's so uncomfortable. Anyways, and then after academic team, I had like the most uncomfortable experience. I went out to dinner with 3 friends, and it was so awkward because we went to Chipotle, and this one person who was with us kept bringing up stuff and like screaming things that were very irrelevant and not true, and would be things that would technically make someone look bad, or make you look like you were quote unquote scandalous, which everything this person was saying wasn't true, but he was like screaming at it in the middle of a Chipotle on a college campus, and we were all very confused, like, what are you doing? And this person was just trying to start drama, and that was very upsetting. So that was not very fun and like super uncomfortable. Did not have the best time with that, but that's okay. Then on Tuesday, I had my community service. I don't know if I've ever talked about this, but I do community service every Tuesday. It's super fun. I volunteer in Alzheimer's daycare. It's literally my favorite thing of the week because I get to hang out with obviously older people, and that's just my vibe, y'all. I don't know. I feel like that's a weird vibe, but it fits. It does. And I go with one of my friends' younger sister, who's also one of my friends. She's very sweet. She didn't go with me this week, though. And overall, I would say I just felt like very low energy and mentally exhausted all week, especially towards the end of the week. I was not doing too hot. Right now, it's Friday. I'm leaving at 4 a.m. on Saturday to go to the beach, and we're driving. So I still haven't packed. I just literally posted a TikTok. I literally haven't done anything since I've gotten home from school. It's been 3 hours. I've sat in my bed. I've done TikTok, and I've set out random clothes. I haven't finished packing. I have like 3 pairs of pants out and 1 shirt. That's as far as I've gone. I just feel very unmotivated, and it's not just like I'm unmotivated with school stuff, which is so true because I honestly can't anymore, but it's just feeling unmotivated in general, which is probably not good. So I think it's probably best that I'm having a break this coming week because of Thanksgiving. But honestly, y'all, I'm very exhausted, especially with some friend situations. It's just very mentally taxing. And it's just been like a lot of energy used on super unnecessary things or with unnecessary conversations and arguments. It's just been honestly overall frustrating that I'm just kind of done, and I really don't care anymore. I had one incident with a friend, which I'll be honest, it was probably my fault, but she had asked me if I wanted to go to lunch, like go out to lunch. And I had said no because I had gone out to lunch multiple times that week and I didn't really want to spend money. And then she's like, oh, well, I'll pay for you. And I said, no, that's okay, because I really didn't want to have her pay for me, you know. So I was like, I'll just go to the cafeteria. But then I saw one of my other friends sitting in the conference room, so I started talking to her, and I was like, oh, what are you doing for lunch? Are you going to the cafeteria? And she said, I don't know. I'm waiting for this other girl. And I was like, okay, I'll wait with you. And then we decided not to go, and then we went out to lunch, and then the friend that I had told that I wasn't going out to lunch was at the place we went out to lunch, and she looked at me like I had 3 heads and was very angry, which I guess rightfully so, because I had said one thing and then I did the other thing, which I mean, I would be mad too, but also not that mad because it's literally lunch on a Friday before break, so I don't know why it's a big deal, and I'm allowed to change my mind. But apparently not. But then I just kind of got like side eye and like silent treatment for like part of the day. So I just try to be nice. I didn't mean anything rude about that, honestly. I just truly didn't want to spend money, and then I was like, whatever, I'm not going to the cafeteria, because it was literally online, it said chef's choice, which pretty much meant leftovers, and I was like, the food already isn't the best. I'm really not about to eat whatever random things are found in there. So I went out, and I feel like that's not a crime, but whatever. Anyways, not going to talk about that because that was just a very stupid incident. During my English class today, we played the most fun game I've ever played. Ever. Very, very good if you're a kind of nerdy person, if you like to read, if you maybe have seen this movie, and that is Pride and Prejudice. We played a game called Marrying Mr. Darcy, and it's a card game, and you get to pick a character, and your character is a Victorian lady. So there are 6 players, and each of you gets to be a different Victorian lady. It was so funny. And the goal of the game is to get enough of the qualifications in order for one of the men to propose to you. But the thing is, in order to get one of the characteristics, you have to go through an event card. And one of the events might be really good. It might be like, oh, you're hosting a party, you're hosting tea, or maybe it's like you're gambling. Or maybe one that I got was that you ate too much veal. Take away all your beauty because you ate too much. So I lost all my beauty cards. Literally the cards, it was so funny. The qualifications for like the proposal for each man was different, but some of them would be like beauty, reputation, wit, friendliness, your dowry. So everything a man could possibly want, right? I was like, this is really teaching us good life skills. But it was so funny. And the thing about the game is that you either get to have the qualifications to propose to one of the guys, and on your specific character card it shows you which guy will get you the most points. So of course you're trying to get the guy who you can get with the most points. But it turned out that by the end of the game, I didn't have qualifications for any of the guys, so I ended up losing. And when you lose, it's called being an old maid, and that's not what you want to do. Only one person in our 6-player game got married, and everyone else became an old maid. And it was really funny because we had one boy playing who's just so precious. He's so sweet. But I ended up getting the game for my older sister for her birthday because she likes to read, and it's so cute. So if you know anyone who likes to read or who likes Pride and Prejudice or has seen the movie, I know I have some friends who are obsessed with it, get them this game called Marrying Mr. Darcy. It is so funny. It is literally so fun, and I had the best time, honestly. It was the best. Amazing. Also, this afternoon, I had a college interview. I think it was my last one, but also I really don't know. How many have I done? I think this was my 4th college interview that I've done out of like 8 schools, I think, that I'm applying to, which I don't even know why I interviewed for all of them for like 4. That was ridiculous. You probably don't need to do that. I don't know. But I had to do my interview in my car in the senior lot at school because for some reason the interview time was at 2 p.m. Which of course I'm still at school at 2 p.m. So I just ended up missing my Spanish class, which was fine because my teacher wasn't even there today. But it's like 40 degrees. Or it was 40 degrees in the afternoon, so it was pretty cold outside. But in my car, I swear it was a sauna because I have a black car, and it was super sunny outside. So my car was heating up. So the whole time during the interview, I was literally sweating so much. And the guy during the interview, very sweet, great, loved him. It was a senior at the school. He was very cool. And where am I going with this? Oh yeah, he told me, he was like, okay, this is gonna take maybe 20 to 30 minutes. We were talking for 40 minutes, okay? I was sweating. I was sweating so much, and he probably could notice. He probably thought I was nervous, which the thing was, I wasn't even nervous. I was just sitting in a hot car. And he asked me, I joined the Zoom call, and he was like, oh, like, are you on the road driving somewhere? I was like, no, I'm literally sitting in the parking lot. Me in the parking lot at my school downtown, where there's just homeless people outside of the parking lot, and where there has to be a gate around the parking lot so they can't get in because they've tried to break into people's cars. Love my school. Love it so much. Wow. That was the best time. No, but the interview was good. I really like the school. Definitely one of my top choices. If I don't get into this other school, then I'd be completely happy going to this one, which obviously I'll tell you guys once I know where I'm going. I just don't want to like say something because I don't want to make it sound bad, but I loved all the schools. They were super good. So like I said, I'm going to the beach this week and I'm super excited. All my siblings are going to be there. So Hadley, Reed, and then my 2 older half siblings who are in their 30s, my parents, and then one of Reed's friends is going. I'm just so happy not to be at school for a week. I do have to finish reading a book for my English class, so I have to read 200 pages over break, which, why? Girl, literally, I don't know. I might just watch the movie, though, / listen to the audiobook on the beach, which I'm thinking I'm going to do. But I'm just honestly very excited. Not excited about waking up at 4 a.m., so, it's like 6:30 right now. I don't know how much time is that, like 10 hours? I'm going to have to be awake again in 10 hours. I mean, I could just stay up till 4 a.m. That's also a possibility. You never know. I might be packing till 4 a.m. Who's going to know? Who's going to know? Not sure, but yeah. So tomorrow I have a very fun, eventful drive. I think it's 8 to 10 hours depending on the traffic. Apparently traffic's supposed to be super bad. But hopefully it won't be that bad, but I'm just excited to see my siblings and not be at school and not have to deal with people at school because I'm truly so done. I'm so done. But anyway, okay, let's talk about gratitude, guys, because I don't want to talk about school because that's depressing and makes me sad. Okay, so, like, what is gratitude? Obviously, I feel like most of us would know. I feel like it's kind of a well-known concept, but gratitude is pretty much just like giving thanks for things or people or events in life. So like pretty much like affirming the good things that you have received in life and like really noticing them. That's kind of the point of it, to be like, these things have happened to me or I've received these things in life and I appreciate it and I'm grateful for it and I'm thankful and this has had a positive impact on my life. Or even feel like you could be grateful for things that have been negative because they could have shaped you into who you are now. So even if something wasn't a completely positive experience, it can still help you grow, which I do think is overall beneficial. And then gratitude also acknowledges other people who have been involved in the things you're grateful for. So especially if you're like thanking other people, you're letting someone else know that you're like, hey, I'm thankful for you. I appreciate you. And that helps make relationships stronger. I always joke with my family. It's like a joke, but also not really, where I'll walk up to them and just be like, I appreciate you. And my siblings think I'm literally insane and think that I'm stupid for saying that. I'm like, I just want someone to say that to me, because it feels nice to be appreciated. And of course, that's what everyone wants. Everyone wants to be loved. Everyone wants to be appreciated. So I try to say as much as I can to other people just because I know that's what I would want. So I just try to be nice to other people most of the times. Sometimes, I'll be honest, I do try to be like very rude to people. Yeah. That's only if they're annoying me. I feel like this is a bad thing to point out about myself. Well, as many of y'all know, I'm not perfect. I do have my flaws, and that is one of my flaws. My singular flaw. No, I'm kidding. There's a lot of things that are my flaws, but whatever. Okay, so how can you practice gratitude? especially during the week of Thanksgiving, I feel like gratitude always comes up. You're sitting at your family dinner or maybe Friendsgiving, whatever you're doing, or maybe you're just chilling in your room by yourself. And I feel like this time of the year, it always brings up the feeling of like appreciating your family or being with people you love or doing things you love. It's like very cozy fall vibes, I would say. That's how I describe gratitude. If gratitude was an object, I feel like it'd be a pumpkin spice latte. I don't really know why, but it's just giving me those vibes. It's like kind of basic where you're like, do I really want to talk about it? But then also it's like really good. So you can savor it and it's warm and kind of cozy. And that's what I have to say about gratitude. No, I'm kidding. I'm still going. But how can you practice gratitude? So I think the first thing is becoming aware of how often you are giving thanks and thanking other people or even thanking yourself. So like notice how often you're saying thank you, how often you may be telling people you appreciate them or that you're grateful for something that they did, or maybe thanking yourself for being proactive or for studying in advance or for helping out someone or for just helping out yourself by taking a break and maybe not going out that night and actually just being by yourself, alone, sitting in peace and quiet and just really rejuvenating. You can be grateful for that, honestly, being grateful for whatever. But I feel like the first thing definitely is to notice how often you're thanking people, how often you're thanking yourself, and think, should I be thanking people more often, or should I be more conscious about who I'm thanking and why? Should I not just go throwing this around? Because I feel often, like in situations, when someone says, oh, thank you, it isn't necessarily appreciated. It kind of just feels like a reflex, or at least in my family, I've grown up knowing that if someone does something for you, you should always thank them. Or like at a restaurant, when someone brings you your food, thank you. Or if you're in a drive-thru, whatever. I'm just thinking about food right now. That's why all my examples are food. I feel like that's always what they are. But I feel like sometimes it can be thrown around and not as appreciated. But sometimes it's good in life to let people know that you appreciate them and that you are actually grateful for them. Obviously, I feel like everyone kind of shows that they appreciate someone like when it's their birthday, in the holiday season, but of course it's always great to show that you're grateful for someone throughout the year. It doesn't just have to be because, oh, this is Thanksgiving, I'm so grateful that I have you as a friend, or I'm so grateful that you're my boyfriend, or I'm so grateful that you're my sister, I love you so much. Whatever it might be. It doesn't just have to be around the holidays. You can show gratitude throughout the year and like thank people and tell them you appreciate them and that you're grateful for them all the time. Doesn't just have to be right now during this week. Another thing that I talked about, I think last year in my gratitude episode, was that it can be helpful to keep a gratitude journal. This can be something that you keep by your bedside or that you put on your desk. I would just suggest putting it somewhere you can see, or even if it's just a piece of paper and a pen or a note in the notes app of your phone. Whatever you want to do, whatever works, you can do that. But just writing every morning or night whenever you have the most time or really want to. Just writing something you're grateful for, or maybe something that happened that day that you're thankful for. Maybe it's a person, maybe in its event, maybe it's a feeling, maybe it's like the clouds were really pretty today. I'm so thankful for nature, whatever. I don't know. I feel like that sounds stupid. But it can be you're thankful for your family. Maybe it's I'm so thankful for my dad and how hard he's working to be able to provide for my family. Something wholesome like that. I don't know. Whatever you want, but I definitely think a gratitude journal can be super helpful and really grounding too, because you can look back on it, because I definitely think with gratitude, it's kind of hard to stay present and really I think with gratitude, it's kind of hard to stay present and really remember, like, what's been going on in your life and things that you should be thankful for. Because I know for me, I forget things all the time. Like, every week when I have to go back through and think about what happened this like in my past week and tell y'all about it. I truly cannot remember. Like it takes me maybe 15 minutes where I'm just sitting there like, what happened? I was like, I know I did things, but what did I do? How did I feel? And like really reflecting on that. So I feel like if you had a gratitude journal, that'd be easier, because maybe when you aren't feeling like you're in the best headspace, you're feeling down for whatever reason, you can look back at the gratitude journal and be like, oh, well, it's going to be okay because I'm grateful for my dog. My dog is because my dog is comforting. And that can give you a bit of peace of mind. Obviously, it wouldn't solve everything, but it's helpful to ground yourself through positive things in your life and not necessarily focus on all the negative things. I don't know if anyone listening watches Big Mouth, but in season 5 of Big Mouth, they brought out like a new character, and it was these hate worms. And this is so random, but the hate worms, it was kind of like they infested someone's mind to make you think like, oh, everything sucks, I hate everyone, everything everyone's doing is just to be against me, they're trying to get me, all these things. And it's like being very insecure and not feeling very good about yourself. And I feel like that's kind of what happens when you focus on the bad things, or if you focus on everything that you can't do, everything you're bad at, everything that people are doing that's annoying you, that is just getting on your nerves, then you're just kind of you're going to be like one of the characters who is infested by a hate worm, which you don't want to be that, because no one wants to hang around someone who's very hateful and isn't fun to be around and doesn't bring other people up. Because I know I'd rather hang out with a friend who's going to hype me up all day than someone who's going to make me feel bad. Like, yes, I do have friends that aren't the kindest maybe necessarily to me, but at the same time, I know my worth. I know like how great I am, right? And I don't necessarily let what someone else might say based on their insecurities affect me. And I mean, obviously it can be hurtful if you have someone close to you say something rude or mean to you that might, like, you know, they're trying to hurt you. But also at the same time, I'm like, I know that you feel bad about yourself, so I'm not going to let your words influence me and influence but yeah, so again, it's helpful if you focus on the more positive things in life, so things that you can really appreciate, things that you're grateful for, because then that'll end up making you a more positive person. Obviously, you're allowed to feel things, you're allowed to have emotions, you know, like any regular person. You're allowed to be upset, you're allowed to be angry, you're allowed to be annoyed, jealous, all these maybe more negative emotions. Totally valid, but you don't necessarily want to be totally focused on everything that sucks. My life sucks, I suck all the time, whatever. I feel like that's a pretty toxic place to be in, and if you are, I mean, I've been there. So just try to focus on some of the better things in life, even if you start writing down little things that you're grateful for, whether it's like, I'm grateful for the leaves for changing colors, I don't know, because they were pretty and it made me really appreciate what's been going on the earth and like how things are always going to be around. I don't know, I just pulled that out of my booty. Whatever you want to say, whatever you want to do. But yeah, definitely keeping a gratitude journal is muy bien. This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. BetterHelp is an online counseling service that is affordable and accessible for everyone. It is not a crisis line or self-help. It is professional counseling done securely online. Their platform will assess your needs and match you with your own licensed professional therapist, and you can even start communicating in under 48 hours. The counselors are easily accessible, and you can send them a message at any time, along with scheduling weekly video or phone sessions. If you are someone who has been interested in getting help with depression, anxiety, relationships, trauma, family conflicts, or more, then BetterHelp is a great alternative to traditional offline therapy. BetterHelp is also more affordable, and financial aid is available to make their services available to clients worldwide. As always, I want you to start living your best and happiest life, so as a listener, you'll get 10% off your first month by visiting our sponsor at betterhelp.com/girlygirl. Join over 1 million people who have taken charge of their mental health. Again, that's BetterHelp,
HELP.com/girlygirl.
Okay, so going back to like bad things, it's important to not necessarily forget bad things that have happened in your life, but remember them and kind of reflect on how far you have come from these things. Maybe you're still in a bad situation or maybe not the best headspace, but you can definitely reflect. There's always going to be growth at some point in your life. You can see how far you have come, and I think that's something to be grateful for. So remembering the bad things is super important because it definitely makes you appreciate the good things in life 10 times more. And that is so rewarding, I feel like, because if you can remember all these bad things and really appreciate where your life is now, I feel like you're going to be living more in the present moment, living a better life, just something that's more fulfilling. Like, obviously, you don't need to let bad things hold you back, but if you can remember them and just think, this is where I used to be. I used to feel so bad about myself every day. I used to be really uncomfortable with how I looked, my abilities. I wasn't confident in myself, and that just felt awful. But now, even though I might struggle with some of those things, on some days more than others, I can like really appreciate and be grateful for how far I've come and how much I have grown, and I'm grateful for myself for actually like trying to improve. And I think that's something that is just really rewarding and can make you feel better overall and just feel more grounded and more present. It's also important, obviously, to outwardly express your gratitude. Obviously, it's great to say thanks in your head and really recognize what you're grateful for, but if you're not outwardly saying it, you're not really putting it out into the world. You're not letting other people know that you're grateful for them or acts that they have done for you. And of course, it's great. It feels so nice when someone is like, Carmen, I'm so grateful for you as a friend. You have been wonderful. That feels great. I mean, I think most of us can like attest to that if someone is telling you that they're grateful for you, that they love you, that's really reassuring and can make you feel better about yourself. And of course, we all want to make people feel better. We want to hype them up. We want everyone to be living their best life, not just us. So express your gratitude, whether it's sometime this week at your Thanksgiving family dinner or going around doing the basic thing. My family does this, so no shame. Not like hating on it, but just like going around saying what you're grateful for, what you really appreciate, what you've been grateful for over this past year is just like a good time to reflect. And I mean, obviously, if you're not someone who's been so focused on gratitude, this, of course, is a great time to start because Thanksgiving, it's the time of gratitude. It's the time of family, giving thanks for what you have. Maybe giving thanks for things that you have lost is, again, so important. And even today in my calculus class, my teacher paused and asked all of us in the room. She's like, okay, guys, so Thanksgiving is next week. What are we all grateful for? We all went around the room and everyone said a lot of similar things. Obviously, things everyone says: family, friends, house, water, all those things. I think what I said was I was grateful that I was going to get to see my siblings this week and be with all my siblings just together because I haven't been with all of them for a very long time, maybe since the summer. I really can't remember when all 4 of us or 5 of us were together. So I was excited for that. Some people said they were grateful to be able to travel, to be able to go out of the country. Someone else said they were grateful for their families. Some people said they were grateful for their boyfriend, their girlfriend's family, just being able to be with people that they love. And I think that just goes to show that people definitely do value relationships more than physical actual things. Like, no one in the room said, oh, I'm grateful for my AirPods, or I'm grateful for my Nikes. Like, no one is saying that. So it just goes to show like the importance of gratitude and the importance of like building stronger connections and relationships with your family, with friends, significant others, whatever it might be, it's definitely important to let other people know who are more on the receiving end that, like, hey, I'm grateful for you. So whether or not it's like just sending someone a text this week or on Thanksgiving and just being like, hey, thank you so much for being my friend. You don't know how much it means to me. I love you so much. I hope you have the most amazing day. I'm so grateful for you. Like, that can make someone's day. Just texting someone that and like reassuring them that your friendship matters and that they are an important person in your life, I think can be really beneficial and definitely make you feel good along with the other people involved. And of course, it is super important to be in the present moment. Like, giving gratitude, I feel like, is very centered on reflection, but also on experiencing life as it goes by. So not just like watching things happen, but really being there, really being present. So be mindful, be aware of things that are happening. If you are actively looking for things to be grateful for, I feel like that's something that'll improve your life. Or even if you're just looking out the window, just noticing things. I know whenever I go on car trips, I love looking at the trees, especially in fall right now. I've always been grateful for that, or even just like looking at the moon. Sometimes I'm that person that if I see something really pretty, it makes me cry. So sometimes when I look at the moon, I cry. Or one time I looked at a building and I just started crying because it was so pretty. I don't even remember what the building was. Or sometimes just seeing things that are really well made, like videos. I feel like that makes me sound stupid. But I would say I really appreciate beauty, not just people, obviously. But if I see something that's super beautiful, it like makes me emotional in a way. So I would say something I'm grateful for is just natural beauty of, nature, of people, of things people have created. And that's always been something that has really impacted me. I feel like it might sound a little superficial to say like, oh, I'm grateful for beauty. But I'm not necessarily talking about like people who look good, who might be skinny, or who might have an hourglass shape, whatever. That's not what I'm saying. Just like natural beauty in the world is something that I'm grateful for, because it really just makes me appreciate being here, especially at times when I'm like, I don't really want to be here. I don't really want to keep doing this. It's just nice to know that there are beautiful things out there, especially when you're surrounded by a bunch of negative things happening in the world, or a lot of negative emotions. Because I know where I live, like in the US, everything is very polarized. People are having a lot of conflict over literally every single issue, whether it's COVID or the Texas abortion law. There's a lot of polarization, and that can be pretty upsetting, just seeing people fight, people argue, whether it's political parties or just having friends argue, or maybe not doing well in school when things can feel like pretty hopeless. Maybe you feel like you don't have close friends. Maybe you're someone who's friends with everyone, yet friends with no one at the same time. I think that can also be hard. So really just appreciating beauty around you is something that has helped me. I've always felt like a strong connection to nature and like the outside. And I feel like as time goes by, more people might feel this way, just because as humans in general, we aren't outside as much as we used to be. So like being outside, I feel like you can really appreciate it more, especially if you're inside all day. You're at school, you're at your house, you're in the car, whatever. You're not really just sitting outside. And that's why I always like to go hiking. I like to be in the mountains. Really just look around and appreciate it. Like when I was in the Grand Canyon this summer, I don't know if I've ever cried that much just by looking at something, because it was, I don't know how to explain it, but it was just so beautiful and just moving to a way that would just make me really emotional. Or I remember one night I was sitting in the river with my friend, and it was pitch black outside. I have no idea what time it was, but we couldn't fall asleep because it was like 100 degrees, because we're in the middle of the desert in like June, and it was so hot. So we were just sitting in the river. The river is freezing. It's the Colorado. I don't know how cold it was, 40, 60 degrees, whatever. And we were just looking up at the stars, and it just made me realize, like, where I live, I never really see the stars just because there's lights everywhere, and I don't even live in a big city. So just being able to appreciate that was a lot. But yeah, it was something that I was grateful for, and it definitely affected me just that whole trip. I have an episode about it. I can't remember. I think I cried. The amount of times I've cried in podcast episodes is like probably not good, but whatever. Hashtag real, guys. Kidding. Anyways, so yeah, those are all my things for how you can practice gratitude. But again, gratitude is just all about appreciation and acceptance, whether it's about your environment, so family, things you've received, things that you have in life, whether it's physical things or relationships with people, and then also being able to be grateful for yourself, things you've done, how far you've grown, and that kind of goes along with being grateful for like stages you've gone through in life, whether it's like that awkward middle school phase or maybe you're having a midlife crisis or a quarter life crisis if you're in high school, college, whatever, in your 20s. Totally valid. You can be grateful for experiences that you've had throughout stages of life, whether it's not feeling your best sophomore year, or maybe it's that venom boyfriend you had freshman year. I'm calling myself out right now. You can be grateful for things even if maybe the overall experience wasn't the best, but if it provided a positive impact on you, or even if it just caused you to change or maybe grow into the person you are today, I think that is definitely something worthy of being grateful for. And again, y'all, gratitude is important because it can be grounding. It's strengthening your relationships, letting people know that you love them, that you're thankful for them, grateful, that you appreciate them. Really just makes someone feel like they've been heard and that you really do care for them. So again, it's important. Tell your parents you love them. Tell your boyfriend you love him. Tell your girlfriend you love her. Tell your friends you love them. Anyone, your dog, I don't know, anyone you want to tell them you love them, that you appreciate them, that you're grateful for them. And I mean, it's not just because of Thanksgiving that you're saying it, just that you really do love them and you just want them to be appreciated and let them know that, hey, you're super awesome and I really do care for you and you're important to me. And also, I found on the internet some like health benefits of gratitude in case you are unconvinced. But apparently, gratitude can reduce stress. So if you're like me, if you are a high school senior and super stressed about college applications and where you're going to go to school, try focusing on gratitude. Maybe it'll help you stress less. I don't know. Google says it might. It can also apparently slow down aging. I don't know how that works, but Google says it does. Not that we're believing everything the internet says, but in this case, yes. Yes, we are. Also, apparently, that gratitude can improve your overall health. And I think this is the one that's the most realistic because it said it helps reduce depression and anxiety. And I can probably agree with that one just because gratitude makes you more present, makes you focus less on things that might be plaguing you or making you feel unworthy or that your life sucks. So definitely some great benefits of gratitude. I would say a few things that I'm grateful for. I feel like I've mentioned some of them, but again, like natural beauty of the world, definitely grateful for that. I'm grateful for how I've been raised, how I've grown up. I've definitely lived a very privileged life, which I'm super grateful to have. Obviously my family, friends, grateful for my dog Tilly, love her, but just the way that she always gives love no matter what. I think that's always really magical about an animal, about a dog, is that no matter what you might do, they're always gonna like greet you when you get home. They're always gonna love on you, give you kisses, hug you. My dog literally will put her paws on my shoulders and give me a hug. So I love her, grateful for that. Definitely a lot to be thankful for. So I definitely, after this episode, just reflect on what you're grateful for, whether it's something small or maybe something big, whatever it might be. Write it down, reflect on it, maybe sit and think about it, or maybe you want to go around and tell everyone. Whatever is your vibe, go for it, but definitely just think about it. Food for thought, literally, because Thanksgiving. See what I did there? Oh yeah, she's really good, aren't I, guys? Aren't I? Yeah. Okay, but yeah, make sure you're following me on Instagram and TikTok at the Girly Girl Podcast, and make sure to leave a review, subscribe, follow, all the things. And then also make sure to check out the description of this episode for the link and code to get 10% off BetterHelp, because y'all, I promise it is so helpful, so rewarding. It's another thing to be grateful for. Online therapy, y'all. Definitely in the season of giving, so I'm giving y'all 10% off. Definitely check that out. And happy Thanksgiving, queens. I hope you have the most amazing week. And remember to focus on gratitude. Focus on the present moment. Just be with your family. Even if you aren't off of school all this week, just really appreciate the break. And I hope you have an amazing time. Bye.